Hey YouTube, JGreen302. It's been a while. I guess we'll just have to call this miscellaneous update 12 or 13 or whatever it is. So, let's get started. Everybody's asking, where you been? Why haven't you put out a video? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Been busy. Been working. Been watching from September 11th all the way up to the Ebola scare, which is going on right now. Just had a lot on my mind, had a lot of things to do. I've been doing a lot of maintenance. Replaced the shocks on my truck. Been going over various things that needed to get updated. I've got 2 dirt bikes, brand new chains, brakes, oil changes, long, extensive carburetor rebuilds, new batteries. Basically, spending a lot of time just doing maintenance on some of the off-road gear, making sure that everything is as maintained and up to date and ready to go as I can make it, vehicles and trucks. And that's really what I've been doing, aside from working and regularly going to the range. It's been a maintenance cycle, just going through and through and through, and I just hadn't really come up with any magical ideas. I've been watching a political environment. I'm not here to give you political opinions, although I'm very politically opinionated on Facebook, but for the focus of my videos, it's more about ideas that people missed. The Ebola thing I've been trying to come up to speed on. Anthrax is one thing, it's limited, but when you got something like this that can spread through airports and go all over the country in about 2 or 3 hours flat, I had to pay attention. So, watching the economy and everything, and finally I got furloughed again. Furloughed being, we don't want you to work Thursday and we're not going to pay you. Our profits. Okay. So today was a furlough day, and I spent a lot of time working on the carburetor, and I figured I got a gap of time here. Let me finally put together a video. So, let me start with this. I'm not going to get too far into it. I just want to make everybody aware. It's from Primal Gear Unlimited. And you can look it up, and you can see videos of the demonstrations and everything, but if you can see this, let's see here, that's about 2 feet, and basically, you'll get the idea. And what you have is a primitive bow. And I don't have a thing here, but here's the string, bend it, and now you have a primitive bow. And it's a compact survival bow made by Primal Unlimited Gear. 50-pound draw, and I'm learning all this. And what made it interesting to me is that it's short, it's compact, I can keep it in the truck, I can tuck it away. It's not something that you think of as a bow, which means I could probably hide it as a weapon. And a couple other things that I just really liked about it, and I thought I would mention it. So I picked that up, and I picked up some arrows and some interesting tips. And basically, I'm talking to some folks that bow shoot, and I'm kind of getting some instructions and, draw lengths and how long the arrow should be and the weight on the tip and the fletching and, various other things. So that's like an in parallel project just for my personal. But what I really decided to make this video on, and it's going to be convoluted, and it's 2-part. But I'm going to walk you through where some of these ideas come from. And when I started making my videos, well, I had a lot in all backed up, and so I could make a lot of videos. But once I got caught up, these ideas don't happen on the toilet every night. It takes time. It takes certain things. So it's been a while since I put out a video because most of the stuff you can go and Google or YouTube all you want and find your answers. I'm looking for the stuff they're missing. got one. 2 parts. First part I want to introduce you to is this 12 volt standard wall wart. It is 6 or 9 feet of LEDs, and I can show you maybe. There we go. And every little bit there's a place where you can cut it, and basically, if I can do this right, on this roll, figure there's 6 or 9 feet of, and really, there we go. And light. On the back, it's adhesive, so you can tack it up. And it's LED, it's 12 volt based, and it's a low lighting solution, or low power consumption lighting solution. I was watching Troy at the Do-It-Yourself World, and he had this up in his little cabin, and he just strung it out so that he could do work. And he was using a 12 volt battery, and I'm sitting there going, you know, that's awfully damn convenient. And for $9 to have one of these, not bad. But it gets better. I don't know if you can see, but there is a clear coating. It's like a rubberized plastic, and they make a waterproof version. And so I picked these up, and what my thinking was is, what is that Troy's playing with? And for $9 or $10 I can buy some and find out. So I bought some. Oh, that's very cool. And I've got shelves here. And as an example, I don't know if that shows up, but under the shelf I just cut a 4-foot piece, found an old wall wart that worked, pulled the adhesive off, stuck it up, and plugged it in. Boom. Instant desk lights. And I'm sitting there looking, you know, that's not harsh, it's not, that's nice. Thought goes, this stuff would be really nice at the RV. And then I started going down, I wonder if I could get these to power it. And then I was looking at USB port power in and outs and all that, and then I realized this is 5 volt. Unfortunately, the LEDs are 12 volt. I had an idea. So I was kind of working with it, and I was sitting there going, that's kind of cool, and I ought to mention it, but is there a revelation here? Is there an idea here? The answer is no. Like I said, 2-part. Second part. It started while I was going through the Ebola crap. An article popped up. Ultraviolet robots zapping, killing Ebola, whatever. And I went and I took a look at it. And they go, and the claims, and I have no idea of the validity because Ebola is a virus, not a bacterial. But they were saying, you know, I guess high intensity ultraviolet to sterilize or whatever. Wait a minute. The UV SteriPens, where you turn it on, it creates a UV light on 2 AA batteries, and you can purify about 2 cups of water in about 90 seconds. Wait a minute. All the survival channel shows, what do they talk about? Well, if you can just find a plastic jug, put some water in it, and set it in the sunlight for 4 or 5 hours, the sun and the UV will purify the water. I wonder if they make these in UV. Answer, yes. Okay, now we're getting to the idea. So, if UV light sterilizes water, and the hospitals are using UV to sterilize the rooms, and the reason UV works is because, and I don't know in virus, but at least in biological, as in standard microbiology, the UV disrupts its ability to cell divide. So E. coli might be there, but because its DNA structure is damaged from the UV, it can't replicate and therefore neutralizes it. It doesn't eliminate the E. coli, it neutralizes it. And that's how it makes it safe for drinking. This way, when it gets into your stomach, the thing just goes its course and dies because it cannot replicate. So it cannot infect you, basically. That's the general concept. So here's the thought. If you can get a 12-volt strip of UV lights that run 9 feet for $10, and you're in a shit hits the fan scenario, Ebola, wow, people getting sick, flu-like symptoms. What if there's 10 or 20 of us and one of us gets sick? Unlike our government, what do we do? Well, the first thing we would do is put them in an area and isolate them. We wouldn't want them mixing with the rest of the group. We don't want everybody sick. So that would be common sense step 1. 2, you'd have to isolate a second person. That person would be the one that goes in and gets them their food, helps them, does whatever, and kind of is the intermediary, but they're not sick, but you know what I mean. And you would have to mitigate how you're handling folks with just a common cold or flu. We're not going to get into Ebola, but illness is going to come with shit hits the fan. The diets are going to go bad. Everybody's going to, their immune system, it's not going to be easy. What if, on low power, I mean, these lights will run off a 9-volt, well, something as small as a 9-volt battery in 12-volt could power these lights. It's a very low voltage, which is why I'm thinking about it in the RV. Well, what if you just strung them up around where you have the sick area, so that the UV will neutralize anything when they cough, whatever they touch, whatever they wipe, so that you almost, in a sense, have a neutralized room for the ill. For low voltage. And it supplies lighting. Now, it'd be a little off color, but it would serve an incredibly helpful function. How valid is the idea? So here's where I've gone. Go into, now we have what's called Wawa. You might have a Circle K, you might have a 7-Eleven, Sheetz. It depends on your geography. In ours, they have a deli counter and all that. And if you always look up, it's not down, it's always up. But if you look up on the wall somewhere, you'll see something about 2 feet wide with a UV light on it and its own little box mounted somewhere. And I've seen them in multiple places, and it's always in the areas where they make food. What I don't know is what intensity level, to what effect, etc., etc., etc. But I've got these in UV set aside to be ordered on the next time I make a purchase. And my thinking is, start to go down the homework and go, well, what's the intensity and what's necessary, and could I maybe use UV lights as a decorative function in, say, the areas that I spend the most time in? And would that also act to neutralize microbiology around my desk, around my kitchen, and help to prevent a cold from getting worse or getting caught by somebody else, etc., etc., etc. All this for $10? Low voltage? Really? And that's the idea. If you could throw this in a medical bag so that you could set up an area where you at least have some hope of sanitizing or at least putting a stop to some of the microbiology while you're dealing with somebody who's injured or sick, you'd pay $10 for sterilized gauze. Nobody's ever talked about bringing some UV lights for medical conditions during shit hits the fan. Now you have. And that was what I was waiting for to make a video. And I hope that rang a bell. Otherwise, thanks for listening. Talk at you soon.